I'm sorry. If I had $1 every time I said those 2 words, I'd probably make Jeff Bezos look poor right now. Throughout my whole life, I used that phrase as a form of sincerity rather than a form of apology. And I thought that that was perfectly fine to the people that I said it to, which it was. But what I didn't realize was how this simple and common phrase would end up affecting me years down the line. To give you some context, let's rewind a little bit. This is baby Gasser. He's a passionate kid with a big heart and even bigger ears. Growing up, Gasser was always terrified of making his own decisions, knowing that if he made the wrong decision that results in negative consequences, he'd have to apologize for it later. Afraid of the repercussions, he refused to make his own decisions and would instead rely on his dad, mom, or brother to make them for him. What he realized though was that as he grew older, he would end up apologizing either way for things that may or may not have been his fault. It just became second nature and a habit at this point to say, I'm sorry. Hell, half the time he didn't even know what he was sorry for. He just was. Fast forward a few years. As Gasser went through adolescence with weird changes happening to his body, he finally entered the unenviable realm of adulthood. And there is where the excessive apologies started to bite me in the ass. As I graduated high school and progressed through college, I became involved in extracurriculars, clubs, organizations, the whole 9 yards. I collaborated with other people, learned new skills, and was really starting to develop as a person. But there was one slight problem. I couldn't stop saying those 2 f***ing words to save my life. Beyond annoying other people with me apologizing for just existing in the same room as them, it really started to wreak havoc on my already frail self-confidence. In some of these organizations, I was elected for a leadership position. And for the first time in my life, I was part of the group that made the decisions, not just followed them. But this time, there was no one there to make a decision for me. I had to do it myself. And to say I was scared shitless would be an understatement. But here's why it was so bad. It starts with a certain issue or goal facing the organization. Then I'd have to work with others to reach a decision on how to solve the issue or reach the goal. We butt heads on the best course of action. I end up apologizing. We reach a decision after debating. I end up apologizing. The decision ends up having either positive or negative consequences. I end up apologizing. Let me remind you that I said sorry as a form of sincerity and kindness rather than a form of apology. So you can start to see how that vicious loop threw me into a bottomless pit of self-consciousness and timidity. Because of the compounding effect of excessive apologies that led me down this rabbit hole, I started to think that I was being a nuisance to everyone that I worked with. And because I thought I was being a nuisance to everyone, guess what I did? I apologized even more. I found myself in the same scenario over and over again. And every time I apologized, I felt more insecure. Even though this has been a habit that I've had all my life, it wasn't until just recently that I found out how detrimental it is to my personal development. So I decided to make some changes and put an end to it. Now that I finished the first step of identifying the problem, it was time to actually formulate a plan to fix the issue. In my case, it was a pretty simple plan. If a negative situation happens, I'll ask myself one question before I do anything. Is this issue my fault? If it is, I'll apologize, take responsibility, and work to fix it. If it's not, I will not apologize. And instead of pointing the finger at someone else, I will assess the situation and work with others to solve it. Now, this is so much easier said than done. Because apologizing has been second nature to me for so long, I somehow feel like I'm being rude when I don't apologize to people, even if the situation is not my fault. Being aware of this tendency and consciously correcting it has given me a huge boost in confidence because I no longer feel like I'm obligated to say sorry for everything. I'm not as self-conscious. I'm able to speak my mind much more freely without the fear of judgment. And most importantly, it has stopped other people from walking all over me because I used to be so non-confrontational. In a weird way, it's pretty liberating seeing just how far I have changed from just one minor adjustment in my habits. Although sometimes I still feel like I'm being rude when I don't apologize, the trade-off in the confidence that I got was totally worth it. I'm gonna add a quick disclaimer. Just because you don't need to apologize for everything doesn't mean you get to be an asshole to others. You still need to admit fault when you're in the wrong, and you need to show empathy and compassion to others when they make mistakes. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. Once you're able to strike that balance between expressing regret and standing your ground, you're well on your way to not being a pathetic little like I used to be. So, I challenge you to find one habit that you know is holding you back and to create a step-by-step plan to start getting rid of it. It'll be weird, it'll be uncomfortable, but it will for sure be worth it. And so I would like to take this chance to apologize
to absolutely nobody.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time as the journey continues. Assalamu alaikum. Wow, I'm hungry as fuck.